Our next guest is an Emmy-nominated actor you know from shows such as Fellow Travelers, Broadchurch, and Bridgerton. He stars in the highly anticipated Wicked, which will be in theaters everywhere on November 22nd. Let's take a look.
Why is it you're always causing some sort of commotion?
I don't cause commotions, I am one.
Yeah, well, that's for sure.
So you think I should just keep my mouth shut? Is that what you're saying?
What? No. No, I'm saying...
You think I want to be this way? You think I want to care this much?
I mean...
I know that my life would be much easier if I didn't care, but...
Do you ever let anyone else talk?
No matter how shallow and self-absorbed you pretend to be...
Excuse me. There is no pretense here. I happen to be genuinely self-absorbed and deeply shallow.
Please welcome back to the show, Jonathan Bailey, everybody. Very exciting. Look, I know, but now we all know. You are thanks to Bridgerton, you are no stranger to passionate fan bases, but Wicked is a whole other thing. There have been people who've been waiting for this movie for years, and based on, the early reports, you guys nailed the landing, so congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's an incredibly special film and fandom, but I was a massive fan of this.
What was your first introduction to Wicked?
I listened to the soundtrack first, and the sort of lore of what was happening on Broadway permeated and travelled across the Atlantic. And I remember the Tony performance from Idina and Kristen Chenoweth.
Yeah, great.
And I downloaded it. I don't know if broadband had come in, but I sort of managed to watch it in about 2 pixels.
Oh, that's great.
But that was enough. I was bewitched.
So you're like, this pixel is...
That's Idina. That's green.
Great.
And I saw the original cast on the West End, and I was...
Oh, you really? So you got to see him when
I saw Idina Menzel, and it just...
Now, having heard, listened to the soundtrack and watched the Tony performance, was it still everything you wanted it to be? I mean, it must have been, but what was it like seeing it for the first time?
Well, it's just, it's funny, John M. Chu, this film is really a feat from a directorial point of view, because he's translated it in a way that has expanded it, and it's going to blow everyone's mind. And I remember being in the theatre and thinking, the sort of electricity and, the power of theatre, it blew my mind then, and it manages to achieve the same effect in a cinema.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
People have also been really excited to the point where everybody was desperate for intel, for behind-the-scenes photos, for basically invading your set. What was the craziest thing that you personally witnessed over the course of
I've seen some things. We were filming in the Munchkinland sets, and who wouldn't want to photograph the sets?
Sure,
as well?
Of course.
And Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, of course. But there was one moment where I was confused as to whether we were filming Independence Day or a movie musical, because there was just sort of drones everywhere. And there was a man who'd attached himself to a kite and was sort of floating about.
There was a man attached to a kite?
Well, I think it was a microlight, but
yeah.
It looked perilous up there.
I would imagine when you're up there and then a drone goes by, you're like, oh, I should have done drone.
Yeah, exactly.
Why am I up here?
Yeah, I know.
No, there's no advantage to me being up here. You're kind of big time now, because you made a request for something you wanted, a co-star you wanted to work with again. And
I did, yeah.
A lot of people, don't have, approval on the rest of the casting or can't even make that ask.
I know.
But
well,
you flexed your muscles.
I did. And when I met John for the first time in London, having been invited to play Fiyero, we talked for about a couple of hours. And Fiyero has a horse, he has a steed. And I knew there was only one man for the job, and that was Jack, the horse that I worked with in Bridgerton.
So you used your Bridgerton horse.
I did, yeah.
And so I guess this is this accurate? Is this a...
Yeah, that's me and him.
Yeah. So it does, I will say it does look like you guys,
It was a companionship like no other. He's a sentient being, and he's very present and calm when you need him to be.
Yeah, and obviously, hopefully, he's consented to all these...
Yeah, I know. I got his signature.
Okay, yeah.
But it's funny, we were so bonded that one day, particularly in the Enchanted Forest and these amazing sets, and we spent the whole day, and I kept patting him on the back and said, Jack, you're doing so well. He was coming up with ideas in the scenes. He was really creating movie magic, and at the end of the day, I said goodbye to everyone and said goodbye to Jack, and one of his handlers came over to me and went, no, that was Pinocchio.
Wait, it wasn't Jack?
It wasn't Jack.
Wait, it wasn't Jack and you didn't notice?
No, with this, because they always have multiple, obviously there's multiple horses, but it was a dark set, and so... you know, I love animals and I love Jack, but there was one day where I was obviously so
This
nervous.
is so funny. Did you say to the handler, please don't tell Jack?
Yeah, exactly. Jack was
Jack
in the
this
stable looking through.
You were working on Fellow Travelers, which last time you were here, we were talking about that wonderful show. At the same time you were working on Bridgerton, at the same time you were rehearsing for this film, which of course requires a lot of rehearsal because it is like doing a theater performance.
Yes.
How did your brain handle the cross-contamination of all these projects at the same time?
There was some contamination. I mean, it's amazing to be able to play three different characters in such extraordinary different sort of stories. But there's one Friday I was running away from McCarthy in Toronto. The next day I was in London at a ball with the Bridgerton family. On the Sunday, I met everyone for the first time and spent sort of 10 hours learning as much as I could, and then I got on a plane, went back, and actually I have
it's okay. Fellow Travelers, a very serious show, absent of music, absent of dancing.
Completely.
Yes. And yet you're working on that show.
Yes.
And you're getting ready for Wicked.
I was getting ready for Wicked, and I was asked to send videos back.
Yes.
I don't know if you've got
so you had to send this to your
Well, you had to
director.
report back, but this was, I think, the Monday after the first rehearsal, and you can see I'm half Tim, half Fierro.
Okay, let's take a
see this.
Yeah, there you go.
I was also no. That doesn't. I was sort of so mortified, but you can see at the end there, just completely dead behind the eyes. But it's amazing.
It is very funny to like be like, hey, are you rehearsing? And you're like, I am. And they're like, send tape. And you're like, oh no.
Yeah, I know. This is gonna lose me the job.
Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum is
Yes.
Wicked. He was also famously in Jurassic Park, and now you are in the new Jurassic Park film. You are the scientist. You're taking up the scientist mantle.
I'm representing paleontologists.
And what was do you have much background in paleontology, Jonathan?
in dinosaur?
Yeah.
I've gone back to my roots, and it's amazing to now bond with my nieces and nephew. And
right,
suddenly I'm back on their level at looking at dinosaurs, and they know more than
I
what
like
did
that you made a move. You were like, you know what I think I'm gonna need? Glasses. I think this guy's a cool guy.
He's
This
cool.
guy's a scientist. Also, it's been you're gonna go back to Bridgerton, 4th season.
Going back, for Christmas, Gonna be reunited with the family next week, actually,
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, very excited.
And I would imagine it just never gets boring.
No, well, it changes every year,
Yeah.
every 2 years. And it's what an amazing thing to be a part of, and there's going to be lots of space for new people to come in, and Luke and Yaron are going to be great, and so I'll always pop back and say hello.
And do we feel confident that Jack will be there? Jack the horse?
Jack will be there. Yeah, I tried to get him in Jurassic, but he he drew the line at playing a raptor.
I feel like that's the word in show business right now. Is everybody's like, Jonathan's great, but he like pushes having his horse there.
I know, it's a lot.
Like whether it's appropriate or not.
I'm just gonna keep pushing until Jack says no.
Oh no. I don't know. I feel like we have to end it there. We have to end it there because it would be impossible to top that.
No, we can't talk about.
Thank you so much for being here. It is so nice to see you again.
Always. Thank you very much.
Jonathan Bailey, everyone. Wicked will be in theaters everywhere on November 22nd. And Defying Gravity, The Curtain Rises on Wicked, featuring an exclusive scene from the film, airs November 19th on NBC and streams the next day on Peacock. Stick around. We'll be right back.